Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Tim here at Higgs Garage. Today, we got some upgrades for the Mini Jeep. You want to see what we get done to this thing and see what it's capable of after we finish this up. I have a small story to tell. We've been using the heck out of this Mini Jeep, and at our most recent little adventure, we were on a very steep hill out in the woods. It had large rocks. I wish I would have had some video of it. With all those large rocks going up this hill, it was super sketchy. Timmy and I were actually going up the hill and it was doing great until we hit some really rough terrain with some rough rocks, and the front end actually came up. I let off the accelerator to let it fall back down and it started to roll backwards. We then hit the brakes and it was very sketchy. The leaves were all on the ground. The little Jeep was sliding backwards down this hill with a large rocks, bad terrain. It was just really nerve-wracking for me to do with Timmy. I didn't want him to accidentally get hurt, and I also didn't want to destroy the Mini Jeep. It was easy enough for me to bail out by myself and just let this thing tumble down the hill. If I needed to do that, I would just rather avoid this in the future at all costs. We would have been totally cool if we would have had this winch. Having that winch on there would have made it possible for me to go ahead and stop the Jeep before we hit that rough terrain, or even after, and so it wasn't so sketchy kind of getting up afterwards, because I had to still drive up it after this whole debacle by myself. You know, I had to lift the Jeep and maneuver some rocks and stuff like that. Not a huge deal, but just to make it a little safer, I could have went ahead and attached to a tree and pulled myself up through those rocks. Just to get me past that rough spot. It would have been easier on the Jeep. It wouldn't have put, it potentially damaged it. It just would have been a much safer option. Went and got this winch for situations like that. It will also be nice for other situations. The Jeep would have ran out of gas. It could have been a lot of different variables that would have maybe needed the winch, and it would have saved our butt and prevented us from having to push it up a hill, or just get it out of the way in case we needed to get another ATV or something down a trail to help get us out. So that's going on there. We also have these cool little lights. These are just some Amazon nightlight pod lights that we're gonna go ahead and attach to the bumper. We have a little switch here. We got a voltmeter. The reason we got the voltmeter is just to kind of keep track of our battery voltage while we're using the winch. And we also got a fuse block. That way we can attach everything to the fuse block from the battery, and it's much safer. It's all labeled. It's much easier to add and diagnose if we have any pop fuses in the future with any accessories, or if we want to put other accessories. What I'm worried is this battery in here is already pretty weak. It's the original battery that came with it. We're gonna run it right now, but it's probably gonna need to be replaced in the future with something better. I don't know if we're gonna go bigger and modify the box or the area where we have that battery at now. I haven't decided yet. Probably leaning towards the small motorcycle or power sports battery that's in it. If it doesn't work, if we have problems with it, then we'll go the route of trying to relocate or make a new battery box and put a larger battery in. What we need to do now is get this stuff installed. As far as mounting our new gauges and our button, all these stickers are unnecessary for me to have on here. They're halfway peeling anyways. So the first step that we're gonna do, we're going to go ahead and remove all these stickers off here. I'm gonna leave this one right here. It's got the VIN number on it and the barcode. It's probably completely unnecessary, but I'm gonna go ahead and leave it. But all the rest of these other ones, we're gonna grab a heat gun and we're gonna get rid of all those stickers. And then we'll bust this winch open, figure out where we're mounting this box, our voltmeter, our light, and get everything planned out, drilling, cutting, splicing, and wiring all this stuff up. Stay tuned. Before we go any further, guys, I wanna say thanks a lot. Our video on the Mini Jeep did very well. A lot of comments. That's why I wanted to bring this with the upgrades that we're doing. We've already done some and we never videoed those. I wish we would have, but now we have these. We have other plans with some suspension, maybe some tires and stuff like that in the future that we're also gonna do. So we'll make a video on that if you guys do like this content. And if you do, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a comment below, share, and let us know what you think. I really hope you guys enjoy this stuff as much as we do. It's a lot of fun. And I know that there's a ton of content on these Mini Jeeps, but all of it helps if you're actually trying to mod them. This we got without even any plans to mod. It's turned into a project that's been very fun, and we have gotten a lot of use out of it. Hope you guys can take something away from this video. Maybe if you have a Mini Jeep or you want to do some accessories or some mods. And if you guys have any suggestions or ideas on stuff that we could do to this in the future, or you see some way that we should have did something better, leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. All right, let's get back into it, guys. So here's what we got roughed in here. We have our stickers off. We have our switch on and off for our additional lights, whatever you want to call them. And then right here we have our voltmeter, and it worked out to where if I put it here, I could just use that existing hole that I had for the tack. Not hooked up, just roughed in. That's what the dash is going to look like. Now what we got going on is, let's bust this winch open, see what we have for mounting. We're gonna mount right here to the bumper. And then we also will have these lights. We will drill holes on the outside. I kind of want to get a footprint. I'm thinking about kind of staying as flush, maybe a 1/4 inch on the inside of that here. So maybe bring it in, the outside of this, about a 1/4 inch, and put it there on either side. And then the winch is gonna go in the middle here. Go ahead, bust the winch open, see what it's all about, see what the footprint's gonna look like. What we have here is the Badlands ZXR 2500 little winch from Harbor Freight. I think this will be plenty good for what we need. It comes with a wireless little remote that can go onto the keychain, which is perfect. It has a wired remote, comes with your hookup box. It's got a little circuit breaker. I was actually gonna run this to that fuse block, but I don't even think I'm gonna need to on this. We might just go straight to the battery. And then we have a little winch tag, some boots for the wiring. We got a hook and a clevis, some hardware, and a book right there, owner's manual. This is the bottom of it. Looking at it, I wonder if I can find a U-bolt underneath here. I think that's what I'm gonna do. But I'm thinking about a U-bolt that will go underneath here. It's hard to see, but on the back side, I can feel the bolt hole. You get a bolt hole here, maybe a U-bolt to hold that bad boy right onto that front bumper. The Jeep doesn't weigh very much. I think maybe 300-400 pounds. A U-bolt would hold fine to pull it out. Even if you're pulling 1,000 pounds, I mean, as far as 1,000 pounds, like the Jeep stuck in something and you had that much tension. Let me go ahead and look at the fair lead and stuff like that. Here, we need to get this thing mounted on too, because it'll have to run through this fair lead. Let me take a look and see what we got, and we'll come up with an idea on how we're gonna mount this. We'll run the wiring right in here on the grill, around this bar, and then right over here, and we'll mount all the stuff, the goodies here, or possibly on this side if we don't have enough room, and run our wiring to our battery, which is right there. We are back on the Jeep. I did get the winch mounted up. Really easy what I ended up doing, and like it, don't like it, it's my Jeep. I drilled 2 holes. This mounting bracket was from Harbor Freight, so I went there, got that because I did not have it. And then I drilled 2 holes. There was already in the plate, but I drilled them through the bumper, bolted that down, and then I placed, you can see there's a bolt here and the same on the other side. And the only reason those are there is to give a gap for this winch to sit on, because the bolts that mount the plate through the bumper, so the winch is sitting on top. So that kind of like evens it out. And then when I bolted the winch down through the plate, there's a gap, obviously, from, like I said, it's sitting on those bolt heads. I just put some washers to space it out. I ended up using just some self-tappers right here for the winch box. I would have rather this been inside the engine bay, but there's not a lot of room, especially with us gonna put that fuse box in. Like it, don't like it, it's my Jeep. You guys can do it however you like. We have to do our lights on the outside of the bumper still. Right now, I am figuring this area is where I want to put the fuse box. If you guys take a look, this is what I've come up with so far. The fuse box was obviously not waterproof. I didn't want this thing sitting underneath the engine bay with all those exposed terminals. It's just gonna have a chance for water. So what I got was this Gecko box, just off Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description, and it fits in there really well. I will mount it probably center, and I'll just drill 4 holes through each corner there and bolt it together. We're gonna use this piece of angle here, and it will fit here, and then we'll weld it in a few spots, nothing crazy, and then we will drill 2 holes in it, mount that box to this, and then we can drill a couple more holes on each end and put rubber grommets in there, and then that way we can feed our wires through there, a small hole, and then feed the wire, and then it'll keep it water resistant. I mean, it's gonna be pretty much waterproof unless you submerge it. That should take care of this. So we're gonna wanna be really careful. I got a fire extinguisher because it's the gas tank right here. So if you do this, it's at your own risk. For sure, be very careful. Hopefully this doesn't explode on me. Want to be good enough. Come
Finally.
That's good enough for me. All right, so what I'm gonna do is we tighten these 4 down, but I'm actually gonna remove those. So we're actually gonna go above and below like that. What I'm trying to figure out at this point is where I'm gonna come through the box with the wires. Also wanna find out how we want this to open. That would be ideal, but the problem is using it. That would be ideal. I'll just get a piece of flat stock and weld it here, and it'll lay our box flat. That would be the best. And then that will set us up for success, I think. We went ahead, we mounted the lights. They're just bolted on. That's it. And then we did weld our flat stock right on here. We drilled 2 holes. We got 2 bolts going through. So we'll bolt that on. The fuse block will then go in. I'll probably have to put some washers on the bottom of this bolt because it's going to be sitting on these, so we'll want it level. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to spray some black paint on here to prevent any rust. I'll let it dry for just a few. We'll go ahead, we'll bolt this on, we'll bolt the fuse block on. We'll get a couple grommets so that the fuse block is completely installed and ready for wire. We will go ahead and run wire to it. We'll make our wiring harness for our lights. We'll wire those lights into there and then get our switch wired up. That way we have power to the lights, power to the switch button, which is illuminated whenever you push it or whatever. I think you have some options if you want it always on, whatever, for the switch to be lit up. Then we got to get our voltmeter wired up, change the oil in here. Oh yeah, we do got to weld that crack. We got some more juice on the camera. I made a mistake. The switches I ordered for the fog lights are momentary switches, so they won't work. That was a bummer. We got the lights on. Check this out. I'm happy with it. Here's our fuse block. Nice and secure. Pops open. We can access all this. I haven't drilled any holes for the rubber grommets yet. I kind of was kicking around the idea of either doing a solid grommet, or if I do it on this side, it's kind of blocked from all the water. I mean, it's no more water than what the air cleaner is going to get. So if I just do one hole here, and I use a rubber grommet but it's big enough to put wires through, I should be able to organize all my wires pretty nicely with that and just have one hole. I don't think that that's gonna be a problem with getting a lot of moisture inside of here. And if I notice like it's getting fogged up or wet on the inside at all, then I can always go ahead and remove it, put a solid one on, and just poke holes. Or I could even just put silicone. But I think that would be fine with just that. I probably would do it up here on this side. This should even be less. That way I got one hole, all the wires coming in, and it will look a lot nicer. And I can keep some spare fuses right here. That's what I think we're gonna do on that. So very pleased. Winch works, we'll test it out. It has the wireless remote. I got the voltmeter wired up, works good. I'm very happy with that. So that comes on with key power. And we got our wireless winch connection here. Got our remote there. So boom, we are doing good. I got the crack down here. It was right on the bottom side of that. Welded up, I got some paint on it. We're good to go there. The only thing I have left to do is change this oil. I don't know if we're gonna get the lights wired in this video. It might actually be on the next video that we do. Might wait on getting the wiring all for these lights wired up. I also might grab a couple other mods to do when I do that. Oh, by the way, we are at roughly 26 hours and 68 miles. Now, the only thing is if we drive this less than 1 full mile on here, so say 0.5, 0.6, whatever, when you turn the key off, it clears it and then it doesn't register it again. So that kind of sucks. I don't like that about this. 68 miles. Since we've done the speedometer, because Timmy sometimes will drive it just a short distance and then he shuts it off. So we're probably closer to 80 miles, 70, 80 miles. We're gonna go ahead though and change this oil. I like to try to do it every 50 just to be safe, or 20 hours. So we're a little bit overdue. Let's go ahead and change this bad boy. We are going to use Lucas Motorcycle Oil 1040. Everybody, we're back here on the Jeep. It's been a few days, no big deal. We actually got another switch for our lights. I ended up getting a toggle switch that matches our old switches here. We have that push button one. It's over there. And it would work. I did not think it would work at first, but it actually, in fact, would. It just had the LED lights, so when you pushed it, it would light up, or there was different ways to wire it. I misread the instructions, and I thought that it would only work as you held it in, but I was completely wrong. I think I would rather have a switch that matched all the other ones. And it's less wiring. I don't have to worry about the LED lights, and none of the other switches have it anyways. We went ahead and got a whole pack of those. So that's what's gonna be put in here in our little hole for our lights. Bam, right there. And also, it is quite chilly out here. We're in Missouri. It's not freezing right now, but it's cold at night. The shop's cold. And I have a torpedo heater, but it's loud. And on camera, it kind of sucks. Also got this guy right here that I'm gonna show you. It's really cool. I just got it going. So this is an old kerosene heater. And I never had seen one of these before. Maybe some older folks wouldn't have seen these before. I don't know. It's a Sanyo, and I picked this up at a estate sale. And what it is inside here, you have a tank. Oh, whoops. You have a tank, and this just pulls out with this handle. I'm not gonna do it now. You fill it with kerosene, and then inside here, there's a wick, but you can see inside here, there's a flame. And I might be doing it wrong already, I don't know. And let's see here. Oh, shoot. But anyway, we can lower and raise that wick up to increase or decrease the heat. But anyway, it's quiet, and we're gonna see how much heat it actually throws off. Kerosene's kind of expensive. I didn't realize it was over $6 a gallon. I don't really buy it for anything. The torpedo heater, I use diesel just because it's cheaper and easier to get. There's only one gas station out here that sells this. I'll mess with it here in a second off the camera. But I thought that was a cool find. Wanted to share it with you guys. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this stuff wired. We have our fuse block right there. So we're going to tap in up here. I think this is gonna be the spot that we're gonna get the least amount of water splashed up from the entire. So we put a hole here. We're going to run our wires from our battery up to our fuse block. Then our fuse block will be hot, and we can go ahead and then make the harness from both lights, run them up through here nice and neat, and connect the one end here, and then we'll go ahead and do the positive end to the switch, and then from the switch back to the fuse block. And then we will have our lights done, our winch done. We'll run outside, do something fun, turn the lights on, and then we will also do a little bit of a speed run. I've seen a lot of comments. People have been asking how fast this thing goes, so we might as well, we'll just do like a little bit of a speed run and see what we get. It's not very fast, guys. I mean, like 25 maybe? I mean, we might hit 30. I don't know. We'll see. Let's quit wasting time. Let's get this stuff wired up. Let's go. We have gotten the fuse block wired up, positive, negative. Oh, it's locked. Anyways, got that wired up. Now we're down here, bring the camera down. We have these, I just have them zip tied up, that way they weren't in the way when we were driving. I have these quick disconnects. We're gonna go ahead and solder on the end. That way, if for some reason we need to remove these lights or whatever, they're not completely hardwired and we can't take them off. It'll just make life a lot easier. Anyways, I'm doing that because I want to. Then we're going to go ahead and wire it straight up to the negative on the fuse block, and then we'll wire the other one up to the positive on the switch. We'll get the switch put in and then go from that positive on that switch to the fuse block, and we should be good. We have successfully gotten this thing wired up, guys. It's awesome. Take a look. Here's our lights off. Our wires are run all back behind here. They do have the quick disconnect on each one. It's very clean. Up through here, you can see we have winch wires and stuff like that, and then the original wires that were here. But the winch wires, and then the only other thing we have on here it would be the fuse block, which is very clean. In here we have extra fuses and our switch. Awesome. And here it is, finished outside. It looks really good. Very happy. Switch.
Yep.
Voltmeter on the fob is the remote. Got the fuse block. Everything's wired. We're good to go. Let's go give this thing a rip. Try this winch out on something and then give it a speed test and see how she does. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do this speed test on the road here. So we gotta be kind of careful, kind of quick. I'm starting in second. We're taking off out of the driveway. So I couldn't tell what that was, but we will look at the footage. You guys will be able to see how fast that was. That was all I would have went faster, but I think she wound up blown up. So that's it, the way it's geared. And with these tires on it, we're gonna call that good. Back from the speed test, we're gonna go in the woods here. Let's go ahead and try this winch out. We're gonna leave it turned off, that way we don't have it starving for fuel or oil. We lost our clevis, it fell off, but that's okay. So let's turn it off. A free spool. Well, that's pretty cool. I wouldn't recommend to do this. It's pretty cool. All right, we're gonna let her down and get on out of here, and we'll close this video out. And we're gonna actually do the rest of this video in the dark so we can test out the headlights, fog lights and headlights, and see how much brighter they are. I'm super excited. I think they're going to be pretty awesome. I think they're going to really help out actually driving at night in the woods, and for visibility for the person driving and for people to see the Jeep. I don't like when Timmy's riding around here, and if I can't see him, especially if other people are riding four-wheelers and stuff, we don't want him to accidentally get slammed into. It is finally pretty dark. It's not completely pitch black, but we are going to go ahead and demonstrate how these lights work. So this is our headlights. That's it. Not much light, but I mean, it does help. And then with the headlights off, this is our new lights. And then with our new lights on, the fog lights plus headlights, you get a little bit. So it definitely is better. Got a lot more visibility with the new lights. definitely an improvement. So that's going to conclude the video for today. We got, you know, the voltmeter on, we got the new switch in, we got the light on, we got the winch on, we got all this new stuff on the mini Jeep, and it's awesome. The fuse block, I am very happy with the outcome on all this new cool upgrades that we did to this thing. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure you guys are being careful when you're modding these. There was, for what we did, we were soldering, we were welding, and it was all really close to the gas tank, so you need to make sure that you're very careful if you do this, you know, on yours or whatever. Just always be careful with whatever you're working on. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys liked. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. When you guys subscribe, it really helps the channel. We cannot grow without you. So if you like this content, you're new here, you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Thank you again so much for watching. We will see you on the next one.